One of the reasons that I often hear that they love coming to me for coaching and for mentoring is because they feel like I am honest, that I'm open, that I'm not saying things, for example, that I'm not doing, or if I am, I admit that. Here's an idea. I'm not personally doing it, but it sounds like a great idea.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome. I say that often, welcome to the program. I mean it. Welcome. If you are brand new here, welcome to the program. I hope you will stay a while, take off your boots, relax, have a soft drink. Those of you who are returning, you've been here a while, welcome back. Sure glad to have you. This is an amazing thing, really. I look back and the idea to start a podcast, I don't know how many years has it been, 7+ years ago, 8+ years ago. It's been a while. Actually, it was 2017. November 1st was the first download, 2017. And since then, we have well over 700 episodes. We have check this out, folks, over 1 million downloads. I'm not kidding. In fact, well over 1 million downloads. It's super cool to see that happen, and you are the cause of it. Thank you very much for being here. I want to pause here and remind you, we're sponsored by Alamode Software, been a sponsor here from the very beginning of the program. Big shout out to Alamode. Thank you for being here. Alamode.com or 800 Alamode. Datamaster, also a sponsor from the beginning. You can find out more by going to their website, datamasterusa.com. Again, it's datamasterusa.com, and OREP Insurance, OREP.org is where you find out more about the best out there. Well, folks, over the last couple of weeks, ever since we made the announcement, I think it was back in January, about the change in my business, in the end of 2021, I was acquired by a company called True Footage, Inc., and I had the CEO, John Liss, on the program. And then about a week later, I think it was, I did a follow-up because I just received so many questions about this transition, and I felt like it's time for another one because I do get questions on occasion, and by the way, they are very respectful. Thank you for that. Very professional. But there are concerns, right? There's questions. If I'm going to go to you, Dustin, as a mentor, as a coach, as somebody to help me with my business, am I revealing information to my competitor? Is there a problem there that I need to be concerned about? And I love the question. I think that it's a great question. It's one I would ask if I were in your shoes. And I think I've got some great answers for you. And what I'm going to do today is break them down into some actual questions that I have received from either current or potential clients. Okay, these are current clients of mine, one-on-one coaching, mastermind students, all-star team, you name it, or individuals who are looking at the coaching. By the way, what prompted this episode today, I should tell you the backstory, is I had an opportunity to sit down with my wonderful and lovely assistant, Lee, this week, and we had about a 2-hour meeting in my office where we were just talking about the future of the Appraiser Coach. What are our values? What's our vision? What do we expect to accomplish in 2022 and onward? It was a great meeting. Lots of great ideas came about that I cannot wait to implement. And I asked her the question. I said, every once in a while I get a question from one of my clients or potential clients about the whole True Footage relationship. Have you received questions on your side? And she goes, yeah, it's not been a lot, but a few. And we asked, we talked about some of those questions that had come about. And what I've done today for this podcast is kind of comprised variety of different questions into, 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, right? So these questions might come, in other words, these are not exact questions from the mouths of the individuals asking them. They are more of a conglomerate, taking different questions that people have asked, but they're basically asking the same thing. And I want to try to answer those questions as best I can. Before I begin, I want to commit to you that I'm going to be, from the very beginning of this program, and I will continue to be as transparent as possible. One of the reasons that I often hear for why people like to listen to the Appraiser Coach podcast, and one of the reasons that I often hear that they love coming to me for coaching and for mentoring, is because they feel like I am honest, that I'm open, that I'm not saying things, for example, that I'm not doing, or if I am, I admit that. Here's an idea. I'm not personally doing it, but it sounds like a great idea. And I, from the very beginning, I mean, I'm human like anyone else, right? Are there chances that I've exaggerated things at times? Sure. Are there things that I may have shared here that I thought was right, but maybe wasn't exactly as right as it could be? Absolutely, right? These things happen, and my sincerest apologies if that has ever happened here. I assume it has because, again, I'm human. But I will tell you this, from the very beginning, I was committed to be as transparent and honest as possible. I knew when I started a podcast that I would paint a target on my back, and boy, howdy, have I. Right? I used to keep a folder in my email called hate mail, and it got really full. And it was, it was no more than just reading them, kind of chuckling a little bit, and moving them into the folder. Be honest with you, the first couple of years I was doing this, those things kind of bothered me. I let them bother me. I thought, well, that's not who I am, and that's not what I meant, and I would personally get offended sometimes by some of this hate mail. I can tell you, folks, you can't really say much to me anymore that's going to offend me. I've heard it all. That's fine. Okay, no problem. To me, it's more humorous than anything else. Though I will say this, I don't just laugh it off. If it's a true criticism, if it's a true, attempt to help me, to show me where I might be wrong, to educate me, I am more than open. Folks, over the last few years in my life, I have learned one lesson. Ready? I don't know jack. And I'm not just talking about the person. I don't know anything, and I am learning, and what I thought I knew, I don't know. And what I think I might learn, I probably won't. And I am more than willing and open and able to accept your criticism. Now, some of that criticism comes in very unproductive ways, Bill, and some comes in very productive ways, in very professional, hey, Dustin, just a heads up, you might want to fill in the blank, right? I'll give you an example. Yesterday, when I was meeting with Lee, I asked her how the podcast was going, what the feedback was, and she gave me a few tips that have come from you. Thank you. One of them was, sometimes people say that the mini-sodes that we do here sometimes feel like more advertising than actual content. That's a great feedback, a great item to consider. Now, part of me wants to be defensive, and I say, well, of course it feels that way because it's only a 10-minute episode, and part of that is going to be, it doesn't feel like, and when you do a full episode of 20, 30 minutes, it's going to feel like the sponsorships is, just a little bit of that. And okay, folks, I can defend that all day long, or I can do what I did and step back and say, okay, interesting. I think I'll do better. I think I'll try to whittle that down and just get to the point and stop having diarrhea of the mouth when it comes to the Now software, for example. I love that stuff, right? I really do. Like, the enthusiasm that you hear on the sponsorship is just as enthusiastic as what you hear in the content, because guess what? I'm enthusiastic about it. But here's the deal. I'm not here to defend that. I'm here to say that's a great criticism. That's a great amount of feedback that I can now take and take it to heart, right? Thank you. Now, again, some of this stuff comes as a positive and some is not. And I try to pick and choose, what I can implement, what I can't. And I try not to get too defensive. But I can tell you that the 4 questions that I'm going to outline to you today, not once have I heard them come in a negative way. Not once have they come from certain individuals, seek the truth, that have a burr under their saddle and want to, do what they do, right? I appreciate the feedback that has come. I appreciate the professionalism in which they have come. And so let's dive right into that, okay? And again, my commitment to you is to be as open and honest as possible, and that's what I will try to do today. That's what I've tried to do in the past, and that's what I will continue to try to do on this program. Question number 1. Has the change to true footage compromised Dustin's ability to remain unbiased? Has the change to true footage compromised Dustin's ability to remain unbiased? Well, folks, as I start to answer this question, let me first set this up. For those of you who missed the previous episodes, I'll just briefly tell you that after 27 years of running my own business, Appraisal Precision and Consulting Group in Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah, we were acquired by a company out of Seattle by the name of True Footage. If you don't know much about them, go back and listen to those episodes with John Liss and the follow-up the next week. If you don't know True Footage, you will soon learn a lot about True Footage because they are a growing company that is going places. Okay, you will hear about them. So after 27 years of owning my own appraisal business, I now work as a W-2 employee for True Footage. Now, the concern in the question is relevant, I think, as well. The concern is, as Dustin has transitioned from being a business owner in Appraisal Precision to an employee in True Footage. And I will also tell you this, folks, part of my role at True Footage has also been, so far, not official, but unofficially, I've been on a lot of leadership calls, been on a lot of, I'm a member of a regional managers mastermind group where there's a lot of think tank stuff going on, a lot of thoughts and ideas thrown back and forth, and it's an honor to be serving in that capacity. So it's not just, at my local branch, if you will, running that business, but it's also on a leadership side as well. And again, the question on the table was not asked in this exact form, but I had maybe a couple of different questions that were similar to this that I kind of combined and scrunched together and made one question. The question is, has the change to True Footage compromised Dustin's ability to remain unbiased as a coach? Well, first of all, folks, I will start to answer that by this and say, I've never claimed to be unbiased. My job as a coach has never been to be an unbiased third party. In fact, I will even go so far as to say I am absolutely biased, right? My good friend Tim Anderson calls himself the Appraiser's advocate, and I would say that I'm your advocate as well. I'm your cheerleader. I'm on the sidelines hoping that you're going to succeed. When someone comes to me, when a client comes to me and wants to be led, that wants to be heard, that wants someone to guide them through the thought process of what it is they want. One thing that you will find is I never, in all my years, and it's been since 2010 that I've been doing coaching, at least in the appraisal world, never once have I said, this is what you need to do. Sit down, shut up, listen to Dustin, I'll tell you what you need. If I were to do that, I would not be a coach. I would be a dictator, and that's not what you want. When you come to me for coaching, one of the first things we do is step back and say, okay, before we can start to answer your questions, we need to find out what your vision is. We need to find out where you're going. Now, sometimes people know what their vision is and where they're going, and a lot of times they don't, and that's okay. We can do it very quickly, or we can, draw it out over a more conducive, maybe hour-long conversation. But the idea is the old Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass idea of meeting the Cheshire Cat, and him asking, or her asking for directions, and him saying, well, where do you want to go? And she says, well, I don't know. And then he says, well, any path will lead you there. Folks, that's not what I want to be. I don't want to be a coach that pushes you, that spins you around, pushes you down an aisle, kicks you in the rear end, and says, good luck. How do you know you're even going in the right direction if you don't know where you're going? And so one of the things that I've tried to do as a coach is to remain completely unbiased, to be unbiased as far as where the direction that you need or want to go, but to absolutely be biased as far as it getting you there. Okay? Nothing has changed with my role at True Footage when it comes to being your coach and your advocate and your mentor to help you to get there. And I want to make that very clear, make that very public, and give you a continued promise that will be my role. I'm there to help you to get what you want, not what Dustin wants for you. Okay, and I will continue to do that. Question number 2. Also an excellent question, and it comes about from various questions that I've kind of smushed together and made into one question. And the question is, what about proprietary information? Okay, what about proprietary information? Now, with that, the question that has come is, if I share with you, Dustin, information, are you going to share that with someone else? The other side of that is going to be, of course, what about True Footage's proprietary information? Now, let me make it very clear. I have an NDA. I have a non-disclosure agreement with True Footage. I also have a verbal NDA with any coaching client that I meet with. I'm going to keep your information confidential. I'm going to keep it sacred, if you will. But I will say this, there are very few things in the coaching world and even in the True Footage world that are proprietary. Very few. Ideas, thoughts, principles, ways of doing things, folks, I'm telling you, these things are as old as the Flintstones, right? The idea that the law of delegation, right? Does True Footage use the law of delegation? Absolutely. One of the great things about joining True Footage was I didn't feel like my business model changed much, if at all. I looked at True Footage, and by the way, I've looked at other companies out there. And many of them, it would take a huge change within our office in order to join their team. When it came to True Footage, it was like they had taken coaching from not Dustin Harris, but the Appraisal Precision for years. They had looked at what we've done and said, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's do that on a bigger scale, really. And the ideas and the things that they are doing at True Footage are very similar to the things that I've been teaching that, by the way, is very unusual. I would say 5%, and I'm being generous, of appraisal offices are using these principles and ideas and practices in their business. I'll give you a perfect example, right? I talked about the law of delegation, a digital manual, a digital procedural manual, right? I've had a digital procedural manual for years and years and years. I was very happy to find out that when I joined True Footage, they also have a digital or creating a digital procedural manual. Folks, that's not a proprietary thing, but the details of that manual absolutely are proprietary, right? The idea of having a digital online procedural manual is something that you'll find in books like the E-Myth, right? These are very universal principles that every good business adheres to. And those are the types of things that I spend time coaching on anyway, right? John Liss, the CEO of True Footage, is very aware that I am a coach for appraisers in many different situations across the United States. And he has been nothing but supportive of that. So thank you, John. Thank you for that freedom. I promised him and continue, and we'll make this public. John, I promise you, I will never share proprietary information about True Footage with any of my coaching clients. Now, to my coaching clients, I promise you, I will never share your ideas with True Footage, right? You have my commitment. I absolutely will keep that sacred and will continue to do so. You can share with me anything you want. Folks, and I'm telling you, people tell me stuff you would not believe. I'm not a marriage counselor, but I play one during the day. No, I'm not a marriage counselor, but sometimes we get into relationships and we get into this, that, and the other, especially if you're working with your spouse and numbers and ideas and thoughts and, hey, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about, folks, I will keep all of that information proprietary. I will keep all of that information sacred for you. All right, I'm going to come back with the other two questions and the other two answers. These are the big ones. These are the big ones coming up. But first, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by Alamode. Alamode, of course, is the software that I am using currently. This morning, I got on with Alamode Tech Support. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't get on with tech support very often. It's very rare, which tells you something about the software, but it is software. And sometimes things don't work quite the way we want them to. And I'll tell you, folks, this guy was absolutely incredible. He was working from home. I could tell. I heard the dogs barking in the back. And he helped me through a problem. And by the time we were done, it was fixed. And it was great. And I thought, wow, what a great company. Folks, you will not find better technical support for reporting writing software out there unless you're with Alamode. Alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. We're sponsored, of course, by DataMaster. DataMaster is saving appraisers time, saving appraisers money. And folks, it's an amazing, absolutely amazing software. You need to check it out. Go to their website, Datamaster USA. You got to add that USA at the end, datamasterusa.com, and find out how you can save 30 to 60 minutes on every report that you do. Datamasterusa.com. Finally, OREP Insurance. I was super glad when we made the transition from Appraisal Precision to True Footage to Know. It was one of the things I was like, oh, you kind of open up the present, you look inside, hope you got what you want. Bingo. True Footage is also with OREP Insurance. Thank goodness. It's a great, great company. Folks, if you're with any other E&O company out there, check them out. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out, and today we are answering some of the questions that have come in ever since the announcement that Appraisal Precision and Consulting Group Incorporated, that's a mouthful, it's also a lot to put on a business card. It's much easier to now put on the company that acquired us, which is True Footage Inc. True Footage Inc. Happened back in December. We had a couple episodes I think it was in January, where I interviewed the CEO, John Liss, and followed up with another one on some questions that had come about and some assurances. And I felt it was time for another follow-up on that because I've had some other very respectful, very professional questions from either my clients or potential clients. And we handled the first two up front, and we're going to handle two more before we leave today. And these are the big ones, folks. Probably the biggest one is number 3. Number 3 is, how can a coach be a coach if they are not a business owner? How can a coach be a coach if they are not a business owner? Well, that is an awesome question, right? And again, I would ask the same question. Do I want to go and spend money and time with somebody who isn't currently running a business, right? I'm a business owner. I want help from another business owner. I want to be able to do the things that are going to make me successful. Well, let's back up for just a second. First of all, please understand, again, we're going to be talking about principles today. We talked about that right before the break. The principles of law of delegation, utilizing technology, systems, processes, all of these things. I don't care if you are an appraiser or a plumber. They are the same principles, and they are the things that are going to make you successful long term. Okay. You should know that I own and operate 2 other businesses currently. Okay. So I had 3 businesses that I was an owner of in 2021. In 2022, I have 2 businesses that are very successful in their own right that I continue to run with the same principles. Therefore, I'm utilizing those principles every single day. Secondly, my role at True Footage currently is one of regional manager. What does a regional manager do? You ready? The exact same thing I did in 2021 as an owner. I kid you not. My role really has not changed much at all. I told you before the break that True Footage, one of the things that attracted me to True Footage was the fact that their business model was very similar to what I was doing already. And what's cool is, other than the extra support and the technology and the leadership and the vision and the interaction, I could go on and on. You can tell I'm pretty high on the whole company atmosphere thing. But other than that, which is all good stuff, nothing's really changed. I continue to run my business. I continue to make decisions. I told you, that this morning I was on tech support with Alamode. That's one of my roles as a regional manager. It would have been my same role as a business owner / manager before that I was in that role in 2021. In other words, things have not really changed. My role continues to kind of be the same. Furthermore, I kind of think it gives me a little more clout to show you how to succeed and sell your business. Over 27 years, the first 12 years, I did what everybody else was doing. The next about 7 years, I built up my business using principles of success that allowed me to go from making less than $100,000 a year to well over $500,000 a year. In 2021, I made almost just shy of $2 million gross for the year, and we continued to grow and develop. And folks, there's a reason that True Footage came to me and wanted to buy the business. There was something to be said about what I had to offer. Now, I know that sounds like I'm tooting my own horn and patting myself on the back, but sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes I just want to lay it out there and say, listen, if you want to be successful in your business, isn't it great that you have a coach and a mentor that has been successful in their business as well? And by the way, I'm not the only coach and mentor out there, but it is something to be said about being able to succeed and show you in turn how to succeed as well. Now, maybe your goal is never to sell your business, okay? But wouldn't it be great if that were an option? Right? Again, maybe the answer is going to be no until you die. That's fine. But would you like to build up your business in such a way that it could be something you could sell? Before I sold my own, I assisted and helped several others to do that as well through the Dream Team, through coaching and such. There were several individuals that I had an opportunity to have a hand in. They all did the work themselves, but had a hand in helping to build them from where they were to where they wanted to be. And all of a sudden, their appraisal office, yes, appraisal offices can be valuable and they can be worth something to someone else. And I think in my mind, that gives me more clout, not less. All right, last question before we close up today. What does the future look like for the appraiser coach? You ready for the answer? I don't know. Now, I have a pretty good idea, but I couldn't tell you for sure where I'm going, but I do know this. As a coach, as I talked about before the break, it's good to have a vision. And I do have a vision. I know where I'm going, at least for now. But one thing about visions is they sometimes change. I have no idea what that looks like long term. But I will tell you this. When I met with Lee this week, one of the questions she asked me is, what does the future look like for you? What do you see down the road? And I answered very quickly and very honestly. And the honest answer is, I see myself continuing to lead and guide and hold the hands of individuals that feel like they need help to be better CEOs, to be better business owners as appraisers. So I see this continuing. What is my future with True Footage? I don't know. I would say there's a really good chance I'm going to continue on with them. My contract is only so long, and at the end of that contract, I'll reevaluate and I'll find out, have I really enjoyed being here as much as I did in the beginning? Is this company continuing to go where I think it's going to go? What is my role? What is my, time commitment? What is my salary? All of those things have to be considered, right? But for now, I'm absolutely thrilled and happy to be a member of the True Footage team, and I see that continuing onward. I personally have more time to coach now than I did before, and that is wonderful. And, this is a volatile time. I would love to help you with your goals and helping you to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. There has never been more change in the appraisal industry than we are experiencing currently. My coaching has gone through the roof. Lots of people reaching out, wanting guidance, direction. Hey, where do I go from here? What can I do to be successful? I don't want to lose my job. I want to make sure that I don't just maintain, but am able to make more money, work less. Folks, I can help you to do all of that. The systems that we have in place, the coaching that's available, the membership teams, the mastermind groups, so many opportunities out there. I can't wait to be along for the ride. If you are interested in learning more about any of this or just reaching out to me, asking me questions, folks, you're going to get an honest answer. Would love to hear from you. Go to my website, theappraisercoach.com, or you can email me. It's thecoach@theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.